You know, one of the world's oldest civilizations goes by a lot of names, but two of them in particular, India and Bharat, tell this absolutely remarkable story. So today, we're going to dig in. Where did these names come from? What do they actually mean? And you'll see how they reveal two totally different ways of looking at the very same ancient land.
So what's the deal with all the names, right? We hear India, we hear Bharat, Hindustan. Are they all just the same thing? Can you just swap them out? Well, not really. Not at all, actually. And the answer gets at something really fundamental, the difference between how a civilization sees itself and how the rest of the world sees it.
And believe it or not, the key to this entire puzzle is hiding in plain sight. I mean, it's right there, on the very first page of the Indian Constitution. Article 1 kicks off with this super specific phrase, India, that is Bharat. Now think about that wording. It doesn't say India or Bharat. It says one is the other. It's basically locking both names together officially. And figuring out why they did that, well, that's our mission today.
All right, let's start from the inside out. Let's look at the view from within. For thousands of years, what did the people actually living on the subcontinent call their own world?
Okay, so our journey here starts thousands of years ago, with one of humanity's oldest texts, the Rig Veda. Now, it doesn't name the entire subcontinent, but it does describe its heartland, Sapta Sindhava, which means the land of 7 rivers. The key word here, the one you've got to remember, is Sindhu. That's the ancient name for the mighty Indus River, and that one single word, Sindhu, is like the seed from which pretty much every other name is going to grow.
But, as people's horizons expanded, as they explored and understood more, the whole idea of the land expanded with it. It grew way beyond just a single river valley. It started to encompass this entire vast space, from the towering mountains all the way down to the distant seas. It was starting to be seen as one single unified place.
And this is what leads us to the big one, Bharatavarsha. You find this name in epic texts like the Mahabharata, and it literally means the country of the Bharatas. Now, the Bharatas were this ancient tribe mentioned way back in the Rig Veda. So just pause and think about that for a second. The name for a specific group of people eventually expanded to become the name for an entire subcontinent. That's a huge deal.
And this wasn't just some vague poetic idea. I mean, these ancient texts get incredibly detailed. They map out the whole expanse of Bharatavarsha, listing out all these different kingdoms. You've got Kashmir way up in the northern mountains, Vanga over in the east, all the way down to Kerala on the southern coast. They had a complete mental map of the whole thing.
There's this one ancient text, the Vishnu Purana, that just puts it so perfectly. It gives this beautiful, simple, and totally complete definition. It says, the country that lies north of the ocean and south of the snowy mountains is called Bharata. I mean, how great is that? It's poetic, but it's also geographically spot on. It's a complete vision of the land, defined entirely from within.
Okay, so that's Bharat, the name from the inside looking out. But what about India? Where did that come from? Well, to get that story, we have to completely flip our perspective. We need to see this land through the eyes of outsiders, traders, travelers, and conquerors.
And here's the crazy part. Almost every single name used by foreigners, we're talking India, Hindu, Hindustan, they all spring from one single source. And it's that same Sanskrit word we started with, Sindhu, the name for the Indus River.
So this was basically a linguistic journey that crossed entire empires. It all starts with the original Sanskrit, Sindhu. Now, when the ancient Persians came across it, their language kind of shifted the S sound to an H, so it became Hindu. Then the ancient Greeks heard the Persian word. But guess what? Their language didn't really have that H sound, so they just dropped it, giving us Indoi. From there, that word passed into Latin and eventually into English as India. It's literally like a game of telephone played out over 2,000 years, and it all started with one river.
And this is a really crucial point. For the ancient Persians who came up with it, the word Hindu had nothing to do with religion. It was purely a geographical term. It just meant the people who live on the other side of the Sindhu River. That's it. The religious meaning that we all associate with it today, that came much later.
And the influence of that one word Sindhu just spread everywhere. If you go east, the Chinese adapted it as Yin Tu. They also had another name, Tianzhu, which means heavenly master, sort of a sign of respect since it was the land of the Buddha. And then back in Persia, the word kept evolving into Hindustan, the land of the Hindus. Again, all of it traces back to that one single river.
So what we have here are these two parallel stories, right? You've got the internal name Bharat and the external name India. And for centuries, they basically existed in different worlds. So the big question is,
How did they finally come together to form one single national identity?
And that brings us right back to where we started, back to the Constitution. That simple phrase, India, that is Bharat, that wasn't an accident. It's a really deliberate, really powerful act of bringing everything together. It takes these two long, separate histories and basically declares, yep, both of these are true. Both of them are essential to the story of this nation.
So to boil it all down, Bharat is the name from within. It's born from an ancient culture defining its own world. India is the name from without. It's a label that was given by foreigners and then traveled all over the globe. Two totally different stories, two completely different origins, now woven together into the fabric of one modern nation.
So, why does any of this matter? Is this just a cool history lesson? Well, no, because a name is never just a name, is it? It's like a container. It carries centuries of history, identity, and perspective right inside of it.
Okay, so if you walk away with nothing else, remember this. 1. Bharat is the ancient, homegrown name, a reflection of how the people saw themselves. 2. India is the name given by the outside world, a name that journeyed through languages and empires. And 3, and this is the crucial part, modern India chose not to pick one over the other. Instead, it decided to braid both of these powerful legacies right into its official identity.
You know, the story of India and Bharat is just such a powerful reminder that the names we see on our maps are never really neutral. They carry the weight of history, of different perspectives, and even of power. And it kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. How do the names of the places in your own world, your own life, shape how you understand their story? Thanks for joining this explainer.